So hi guys, and welcome to the actual gist of everything I've been saying. If you followed the first video, you would have known by now how I realized I had PCOS and I had hormonal imbalance, right? So this is the main gist, right? How I treated and how I conceived, right? So yes, so from my previous video I told you how I had a miscarriage, how I took the first drug. You just need to go back and watch that video so that you would understand this follow-up video, right? So now, after I had already had the miscarriage and I lost that pregnancy, I had to swing into intentional full action, and this involved going to a recognized government hospital, right, which happens to be the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital. Why did I go there? Who recommended that hospital to me? So this particular day, my mom called on phone and said, I think you should actually see a fertility doctor in a government hospital and stop going to private hospitals or just going to see general doctors, right? So this particular day, I told my husband, see, I really want to go and see a fertility doctor and know exactly what is wrong with me. And he's like, okay, fine, you have my support, you can go, and then after your first visit we can now keep going together, right? So I went there to University of Abuja Teaching Hospital. I met the general doctor and I explained, this is what is wrong with me, this is what I've done, I lost this pregnancy and now I want to actually treat it and find a solution to my PCOS and hormonal imbalance, right? And he was like, okay, fine. I am actually a general doctor, so I'm going to be referring you to the gyna unit, please, to the gyna unit. So there, the gyna unit, they'll refer you to a fertility doctor. So when you get to the fertility doctor, you can now see him and explain everything. And I'm like, okay, fine, thank you very much. So I had to go and I met the first fertility doctor, and they gave me another date to come with my partner. And that particular day I had to go with my partner. We went, the doctor asked us several questions, several couple related questions. After asking us those questions, he said, okay, we should not worry, this is just a little problem, a little issue that by God's grace we're going to get solutions to. When we got there, the doctor had to, after asking us a series of questions and everything, he said, okay, that we have come actually to a fertility doctor, so he's actually going to give us medications based on series of tests I must have run. But the beautiful thing about this particular intentional stage of my whole inquiry and then getting solutions to my problem is that, number one, I went directly to the fertility doctor, right? Number two, I had to go through series of tests. Initially it was just a scan, it was just hormonal imbalance, but this time around I had to run series multiple tests. See, I'm sorry to say though, but I want to make up your mind for you. If you're having issues with conceiving, if you're having issues with getting pregnant, and you make up your mind that you're going to the hospital to get solution to your problem, please make up your mind to open your bum to the whole hospital, because every visit I go for, at some point they will carry something that looks like rod. They carry that, not even the wheel. They carry something that looks like rod, wore their latex on it, inserted it into my body. I even felt it was touching my stomach, and on the monitor, that's for scan, they were just looking and examining inside my stomach, my womb, everything, to check and make sure that everything is okay. That's for that stage. And then after that, I remember the next one I did was something like brush, toilet brush. Just exactly like toilet brush, they put it into me. I think they said when they use that one and screw, it has a way of just collecting not your ovaries, not literally your ovaries or your egg or something like that, but however it just collects the sample they need, right? If they collect it, and they now send it to the lab and still run tests with that, just all this follicle, ovary, egg, whatever thing. And then blood tests, PCV, what else? A lot of tests, a lot. And that is one beautiful and amazing part of this stage, because I went here and they didn't just conclude that, yes, we know that everything you're experiencing, everything you've said so far is not far from PCOS, or it's not far from hormonal imbalance, right? But we still need to go in depth and check more and more, because they just needed to find out. So after a series of tests, there are even some tests I did, and when they collect my sample, I have to come back 1 month later to get the result. And when I get the results, then I have to see the doctor, right? So when I was done with all the tests the doctor said I should run, the last test I had was the last one. They said after 30 days I have to come back for the results, and with that result I can now go ahead and see the fertility doctor with all my test results, right? And that was it. I started this whole process October, right? And then by December I sent my sample to the lab, so that means I have to come back January to see the doctor. And you know how school clashes now. I even had to go down to the east for Christmas and come back to Abuja again in January, so that I will be able to go visit the doctor with that test result that the sample had to stay for 30 days. So when I went back to the doctor by January, I went and I even met another fertility, like I was now referred to another fertility doctor. Like that's just the amazing thing. It's not just one person treating you, there are a lot of them. So this person's expertise, this person's, and they were just professors, right? So I went to this particular one, and you know, when I even walked into his office and I saw a different face, I felt so bad, because I just felt like, so I have to come and start telling this story from the beginning again and explaining. But thank God for technology, especially with the hospital, because maybe I just went in, he just logged into the system, went to my profile, looked at my record and everything. So already the way that the hospital operates, the lab already sent the result, to the doctor even before I went to see the doctor, and they still gave me hard copies of the results, right? So when I went, I met him, and then I was even about telling the story from the beginning, so he just smiled, and then I said, sorry sir, please, before you go ahead, I'm a student. I actually stay here with my husband in Abuja, but I'm actually a student in the east, that's at Enugu. So please, can you, in the process of this consultation and everything, can I get all the drugs, all the treatment, every advice I need today? Because after today, I'm not sure I'll be available for any other visit, because I'll be traveling down to the east. And he was like, okay, fine, that's no problem, it's no issue at all, don't worry, it's not a big deal. So he was just like, just relax, it's not a problem. So because I have stayed for 2 years without conceiving, they just kept on tagging it 2-degree infertility, right? And that was how he assured me that there will be no problem, and by God's grace I would find solution to my problem. So, but the only thing he now advised, that was the last time I went to a fertility doctor before I took him, right? The only thing he advised, he said, okay, based on all the tests results I'm seeing, you're perfectly okay, like you're fine, you're okay, nothing is wrong with you, but the only thing is that you have hormonal imbalance, and the kind of hormonal imbalance you have is that your prolactin level is very, very high. So he was like, we need to step it down, balance the hormones, so that your body will recognize, however they describe it in their medical terms, your body just recognizes the mood changes and everything, so that you'll be able to take in, right? I'm like, wow. Like, even the way you listen to their explanations and the way they say everything they say, you just know that, okay, this is their field, like this is this person's field, and this person is already used to things like this, right? So after his explanation and everything, he's like, okay, I will send you to the pharmacy, you just get a drug from the pharmacy and just take that drug, but immediately, anytime you notice you're pregnant, discontinue that drug and come back to the hospital. So I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. So that was it though. All these protocols of, obviously, please, if you've not watched the first one, you definitely have to go back and watch it. So all those protocols I kept going through and everything, imagine that I just went to the people or the field that was concerned with this, and as simple as ABC, that was how they just made me feel like I even had this hope all the while I've been going there and seeing them, right? So the drug I was given, I was told to take 1 tablet 2 times weekly, right? And it was not even up to 10,000 naira, but imagine the first hospital said for them to treat me to be 200,000. So this is a drug I was told to take, right? This is the drug I was told to take in order to be able to conceive, and it was recommended by the fertility doctor, right? So that was it. And then I went back to school, and I was told that the side effects of this drug would also look like the side effects, or be similar to the same side effects of the first drug my husband's friend's wife recommended to me. Remember from the first video, right? So I was just ready and prepared for anything and everything. So because I already know that one of the side effects of this drug would include oversleeping and overeating, right? I was trying to be very careful so that I don't oversleep and put myself in trouble. How do I mean? Being a student, imagine I take this drug, let's say at night before I go to bed and sleep, and then I sleep, and then probably I have a test by 9 o'clock in the morning in school, and I now find myself waking up by 12. How would I give that explanation? On a norm, if I tell my classmates or if I tell my lecturers that, please, I'm sorry, I overslept, that was why I came for this test very late, they will not understand, right? But the actual excuse should even be that, please, I'm taking fertility drugs or hormonal balance or imbalance drugs or whatever. It's not making me want to go into details, telling them what is not even necessary and what is not, what is just something that is not meant, is not for their consumption. That's just the word, right? So all those unnecessary story, it's not literally unnecessary, but coming to repeat that story and start telling everybody the story and drawing sympathy and attention would not make sense. And the another thing that coincidentally, as at this year, this year, right? I started this treatment this year. That's for emphasis and for everything. I started taking this drug this year, right? Remember, I went back to the fertility doctor by January with my last sample and test results from December, right? So as at January, I saw my period on the 15th. I haven't started taking the drug yet, just on a norm. I saw my period on the 15th of January, and I'm like, okay, fine, since period has come, let me just relax yet. Let me not just be in a hurry to start taking this drug and taking medications, right? I was just really scared of the side effects of it, especially combining it with school. And I was in my final year, so you don't just want to tell any story, right? So as at February, I was supposed to go, I'm a geologist, right? And I was supposed to be in field for my field work, right? So that February period was that period of the whole election, both governorship, both presidential election, everything election was just happening that February period. And based on myself and my project mates, we were planning to go to the field by February or by March, and I was supposed to start taking this drug by February, right? So I remember back then I kept on kind of pleading with them. I'm like, please, can we just postpone this thing till March? Let's just go to the field by March so that I just have enough time. At least I'll have like 4 weeks to start my medications and everything. But it didn't work out with us. But I know what I wanted, and I know what's not pressure. I just know my situation. So I didn't have any option than to slack back, like just stay back. While they went to the field, I had to come back to Abuja, right? So it was that period I came back to Abuja, and coincidentally, that period I came back to Abuja was also, I think, a week ahead was the presidential election. So I just prepared my mind that I was definitely going to use that opportunity. Since I was already in Abuja, I was going to use that opportunity to vote as well, right? So as God will have it, I came back February ahead of the election, 1 week ahead of the presidential election, and I started taking the drug, just one pack of the drug. I started taking it. I think it's, no, I've not even opened this one. I actually bought 2 packs, and each one goes for 7,000 naira. So I've not opened the second one. As you can already see, I just finished one. Like it's three sachets in one, right? And it comes two like this. You can already see how very tiny it is. So I already finished one sachet that has just 2 tablets, and this other second one that has another tablet. So it's more like I've only taken 2 packs in 1 pack. You get like 2 packs, that's 4 tablets in 1 pack. So I just took it as at then. Like so far, that was what I consumed as at then, and I just finished consuming it as at then, and then I finished consuming it as at then. And during that period when I was even taking this medication, where so that was it. And then good news. After the election, I went back to school, and I had to go back to the field, right, for my project field work. So that period I went back to the field, that was March, first week of March. I went back to the field for my project field work. I had to change location. Like I just had to, and thank God for my very nice project supervisor. She was super understanding. I had to even explain to her when I was in Abuja and I could not go to the field with my classmates. So I explained to her, please man, this is the condition of things that made me miss going to the field. And she said, don't worry, no problem, stay back, treat yourself. God bless her for me. Miss Sola, I said, God bless you for me. And she said, don't worry, treat yourself. I was just so relaxed. I said, thank God, I'm not under pressure, I'm not under tension again. So I relaxed, and that was how I took my time. So at the end of everything, I came back to school. I met her. She had to change my location to somewhere even closer herself, and I had to go with a different project partner. And thank you very much, David. It was very nice, like very nice throughout the whole project experience. Because really, if you see, for you to understand this project thing, you have to watch like my last 2 videos, right, where I went to the field. Do you know that time I recorded that video, I was pregnant and I did not know. Like I was literally in the field, jumping up and down, climbing rocks, climbing mountains, trekking long distances, and I was literally pregnant and I did not know. It was very shocking. Like, imagine, do you know, if I had known, I'm sure I may even plead with my supervisor that I'm sorry, please, I'm sorry, I may not have to put my mind in my project and do anything project, because you know how I lost the first one, now I have a second chance and second opportunity. So that was just it. You really need to watch that second video. I even had to vlog. I was vlogging while doing my project because of course I have to keep myself busy now and just record the moments, and I did not know, literally did not know. So how did I know? I went to the field on the first day, right, and I came back, I was feeling sick. I just felt like maybe it's because I've been stressing myself, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. So on the second time I went back to the field, I went with my supervisors to the field, right? So that day was even quite more, I don't want to say it was more stressful, but it was too sunny. So I was already feeling very stressed. But I was just forming hard girl. You know, you're with your supervisors now. You don't want to give them the impression that you've been wasting your time or not taking your project seriously. So that was it. I was with them, I was doing everything. But when I came back, I was so sick. I was feeling so sick and so weak. And I was always peeing. I said, me that I've been controlling myself, I did not drink water when I was in the field. So why am I peeing frequently? So that night, I just casually said, let me just do this test. Like, let me just do the pregnancy strip test and just see how far. And I was so lazy. I got the strip, I dropped it. I said, no, first thing in the morning I'll do it. So I remember my roommates back then, they went for night class. So I was just alone in the room. And very early in the morning, I woke up. I did the strip test. Like, I did the strip test very early in the morning in my room. And as I was even bringing out the strip from the bottle, the container I used to do the test, I was seeing double lines. And in my eye, I'm like, I will insert the clip somewhere here. In my eye, I'm like, what is this? How? Like, I was just so confused. It was like, is this is true to be true? I kept on looking at it. I had to even text my partner that very early down when I say, see, I did test, so see what came out of the result. Like, see how it's like. I just reluctantly snapped it. And you know, that same morning I was supposed to go to the field for my last field trip, right? When I said that thing, I was saying in my head, I was like, should I still go to this field? Maybe I should just stay back. I said, no, let me just go. But if I go, I'm not going to stress myself. But do you know, that day I woke up and I did that test and it was positive. The field trip I went for that day was the most hectic field trip out of even the past 2 days I've gone for. Because this time around, we had to go to a coal mine. We had to... I recorded that video and I was supposed to edit it and post, but I was just so tired because that video was just so exhausting. I had a very eventful day that day because it was like I was touring a wild forest, literally touring a wild forest. It was just so hectic, and it was very, very hectic because we're actually looking for some samples, right, for project analysis, and we've not found it from the last 2 sites we visited, right, or locations we visited. And we definitely have to, like, you cannot do your project without having any sample. So it was because of the search for the samples we needed for the project analysis. So that was why we insisted we were going to go to this final location, and we went there. Do you know, when I came back, I vowed I am not going back to the field for any reason again. So that was how I realized I was pregnant, and that was how I started taking care of myself. I was in school though. The funny thing is that from my first month of pregnancy till my, how many months? Till my 6th month of pregnancy, yes, I was actively in school. I think from 1st to 6th, I was actively in school, actively going to classes, actively doing my projects. Actively doing my projects. I was actively in school, actively going to classes, actively doing my projects, actively doing everything I was supposed to do, like, and it helped me. It helped me. Being active in school really, really helps me because I was not, unlike other pregnant people I see, they're just so, it's even now I'm looking a bit chubby and plump and everything. When I was in school, I was inside pictures here, you see, I was just looking very normal. Like, I was trekking long distances because at some point I had to leave the hostel and go off campus. So my lodge or my house was not very far from my department, right? It was not very far. It was like, let's say, just roughly 10 minutes walk, right? So I was not lazy in terms of I'm always taking bike or taxi or anything. I'll walk the walk. If class is by 8 o'clock, I will leave my house, let's say 7 o'clock, 7:30. I'm on my way to school. Anything that I was just very actively involved. If you see me when I was even, let's say, 6 months, 5 months pregnant, you would literally be thinking I just, let's say it's just 3 months or 4 months, but I was very, very heavy then. I could even feel baby movement very, very well. But I just promised myself that I was not going to be a dundee, like I'll just, and it should just be, because I definitely have to finish up final year and definitely have to graduate, right? So that was just the whole beautiful experience, and I'm very grateful to God, like super grateful to God. But I am I'm definitely generally grateful to God, but I also appreciate my department, especially my HOD, my classmates, a lot of friends that were very, very helpful. A lot of my friends, even when I was still in the hostel, and I left the hostel when I was towards the end of my 3 months of pregnancy, just almost 4 months pregnant, I had to leave the hostel. But even when I was in the hostel, I had this very good friend of mine. She would always cook for me, bring things for me, bring food for me, bring anything. In short, come to my assistance, help me do anything. I even had my classmate that would come and fetch water for me. Thank you very much, Tamuna. Tamuna would always come, not always. He came, I think, once or twice, but he fetched good amount of water for me that lasted a long time. He fetched water for me. My friend would cook food. She shout, "Go!" And then she'll bring it to me. Then some other friends as well would help me, let's say with assignments, let's say with even not with attendance, because I was always in class, but they just help me with attendance. And I had this very good friend as well. I had to meet him, JK. I had to meet him. I said, "JK, please, I'm pregnant." And in my head is doing like, the more I read, the more I forget. Like, it's just doing me, the more you read, the more you forget. But to the glory of God, my HOD, a lot of people, my supervisors, my parents, everybody, my partner. So, in summary, this is how I finally took in. This is my experience. This is my own testimony. So, the next video, trust me, I'm going to tell you how also having faith in God helps me, because it's not only by taking medicine or drugs. Though, I had to activate my faith. I have to stay prayerful. I had to stay optimistic, everything, and it really helped me in this journey. So I'm going to share it in my next video, and then subsequently we'll start sharing videos where we are planning for the baby's arrival, what we are doing. Just get ready for this new era and motherhood era, right? If you've not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel, watch my videos, share them, and I'll see you in subsequent videos. Bye. So I just remembered this now, but I feel it's very important to also share with you all. I remember one of the very important advice I got from my fertility doctor when I met him was that he said, because I have kind of irregular menstrual cycle, right? So I shouldn't be meeting my husband based on how we calculate our fertility days and ovulation days, right? So now meeting my husband now is anytime my period stops, like at the end of my period, from that period I should just be meeting with my husband. You get? So unlike other people, how you check your ovulation days and your fertile days, he said this time around there is no need for checking. I shouldn't check because I have irregular menstrual cycle. So I hope this also helps.